How does Tang San feel about Hua Yuhao? Does he approve of him as Wang Donger or Tang Wutong's lover, his daughter? In the original story, Hua Yuhao faced an extremely harsh trial from Tang San. To say the least, Hua Yuhao literally died hundreds of times. Let's take a closer look at what happened. In the Yinyang Love Valley, where love is tested, Wang Donger sacrificed herself, leaving Hua Yuhao on the brink of death. In a previous discussion, we explained why Wang Donger died and why the valley couldn't revive her. That was her trial involving Wang Chou'er. But for Hua Yuhao, things were completely different because he encountered Tang San face to face. His trial took place in a boundless golden court. In the distance, he saw a man faintly glowing with a bluish golden light. Hua Yuhao calmly asked, "Who are you, and what is my trial?" He began observing this man using spiritual detection. Hua Yuhao even assumed this person might be an enemy rather than an ally. But even with his powerful mental strength, Hua Yuhao couldn't sense this person's presence. It's not hard to guess, it was Tang San. A voice resounded. "Are you Hua Yuhao?" This unknown figure exuded an intimidating aura, yet Hua Yuhao's experience told him that the valley wouldn't assign him an impossible task. The trial was called The Adventure of Sincerity. Tang San said, "You must fight me. Do your best to defeat me." Hua Yuhao was momentarily stunned. He didn't expect to find himself in such a situation. The man didn't explain anything, merely stating that they had to fight. Yes, Tang San, at the level of a god king, tested Hua Yuhao personally and decided to fight him. The blue figure of Tang San suddenly moved. There was no particular aura, but Hua Yuhao didn't know how to defend himself, as this figure was like a ball of air, as if he didn't exist. A golden palm struck Hua Yuhao's chest with precision. The next moment, Hua Yuhao felt a terrifying force pierce his heart and shatter the bones in his chest. He could clearly hear every bone in his body cracking like fireworks. Hopelessness and death, that was all that remained. Hua Yuhao's body turned into a storm of blood and flesh, scattering in all directions. However, in that moment, a pure white light suddenly flashed, and Hua Yuhao's soul began to reform. Hua Yuhao reappeared in the vast court, seemingly unscathed, after being torn apart by that single palm strike. Hua Yuhao died, his soul was reunited, and he was resurrected. The experience of having his body broken into pieces and reassembled deeply imprinted itself in his soul. In those brief seconds, he endured death, despair, and excruciating pain. When his body was restored, Hua Yuhao felt utterly lifeless and exhausted. Surprisingly though, he could walk again. His previous leg and arm problems had disappeared. Walking on his own felt so unfamiliar and exhilarating. What did Tang San do next? The exact same thing, a powerful strike, and Hua Yuhao's body was obliterated again, his soul briefly drifting in the air before being reassembled. A voice said, "I'm very disappointed in you. Have you lost the courage to fight?" Hua Yuhao was speechless. Having traversed life and death repeatedly, his mental state couldn't remain stable. Now, Tang San simply stood quietly without attacking. Hua Yuhao spent several minutes regaining his composure. He realized he couldn't use any of his abilities or mental strength. All he had were his fists. Tang San easily deflected his punch, and Hua Yuhao instantly disintegrated into dust, only to be reassembled again. This went on endlessly. Hua Yuhao tried summoning the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion or Ice Worm but couldn't connect to his spiritual sea. Each time Hua Yuhao revived slightly faster than before, he stopped blindly attacking and instead tried to find a solution. He attempted to escape but failed. So what was left? Was he destined to be reduced to dust indefinitely? No, there had to be a solution. The Yinyang Love Valley wouldn't assign an impossible task. Hua Yuhao began reflecting. The agony of death and rebirth gradually became weaker, and his soul seemed to grow stronger. He charged at the bluish figure the moment he revived. On the surface, all of this seemed cruel, but Tang San had a purpose. Ultimately, this trial benefited Hua Yuhao. Wang Donger and Wang Chou'er witnessed from the heavens, amidst golden light, one figure relentlessly charging at another. The first kept sending the second flying each time. Blood constantly spilled from Hua Yuhao's body, yet he stubbornly stood up and charged at the spectral figure again and again. Finally, the blue golden figure approached Huo Yuhao, a radiant trident appearing in his hand. Wang Dong'er and Wang Qiu'er saw Huo Yuhao's trial. Together, they screamed. They had to decide which of them would die to save him. Meanwhile, Huo Yuhao kept dying and reviving. He grew accustomed to it and fought his opponent longer and longer each time. Throughout this process, Huo Yuhao experienced nearly every kind of pain imaginable. He could distinguish the pain of different bones and body parts. This inhumane torture resembled a form of tempering. Yet this tempering seemed to make him stronger. Each time he endured the pain and launched an attack on his terrifying opponent, Huo Yuhao felt his mental resilience growing. It wasn't pleasant, but Huo Yuhao could clearly sense his improvement. Over time, he reached his limit and fainted, but Tang San didn't kill him this time. In this strange place, his wounds healed incredibly fast. Huo Yuhao vividly felt his shattered bones reassembling and his broken meridians reconnecting. The longer he fought, the more he adapted to the unbearable pain. When he finally stood up again, everything around him was empty. The blue golden figure had vanished. Huo Yuhao was stunned. Experiencing this unforgettable ordeal must be enough to pass the trial. If he had to endure it again, he might truly go insane. Thus, his trial concluded. Why did Tang San do this? Why kill Huo Yuhao hundreds of times and bring him back? The answer is simple. It tempered Huo Yuhao. It wasn't mere cruelty. Tang San himself had undergone numerous trials on the Douluo continent, sacrificing himself, dying for Xiao Wu, and passing the sea god's trials. All of this shaped him into the greatest god in the divine realm. This would benefit Huo Yuhao as a future son-in-law if he wanted to be Tang Wutong's husband. It's not as though Huo Yuhao had an easy life. He had already faced death multiple times while saving his comrades and Wang Dong'er. He had endured much to grow stronger. But apparently, Tang San decided something harsher was necessary. Indeed, when the Yinyang Love Valley asked Tang San if this wasn't too much, Tang San replied, "Without storms, can there be rainbows? Without setbacks, one cannot learn to cherish things." He also added, "If it were just my son-in-law, my expectations wouldn't be so high. But I intend to pass one of my divine positions to Huo Yuhao. I need to ensure he's a worthy candidate." After all this, Huo Yuhao felt incredibly confident. Not only had he lost all fear due to the constant cycle of death and resurrection, but he was also ready. The brutal trials he endured weren't in vain. His abilities and mental resilience improved significantly. Huo Yuhao felt his spiritual power return to normal, and his mental strength was no longer suppressed. Yes, this was Huo Yuhao's trial in the original. But it wasn't over, as Wang Dong'er was still in a coma. In the anime, they might soften the trial, as Tang San and Xiao Wu seemed to approve of Huo Yuhao as a husband. When Wang Dong'er revealed her true form to Huo Yuhao, Tang San and Xiao Wu were happily watching from above. We'll see how the anime adapts it. Do you think Tang San went too far with this trial? Share your opinion in the comments. Hua Yuhao truly had it tough. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and goodbye.